Yep, you guessed it, the first video of the year, and I'm already talking about Twitch drama. If you recall, not only a couple weeks ago, but also a month ago, I mentioned that Mizkif had left OTK on grounds that he was under investigation for another case that we'll get into in a moment, and that Rich Campbell also was released from OTK a few weeks ago for something else that we will discuss later. Now, with two people gone from OTK, and then Jay Schlatt leaving shortly after, it's been nothing short of a bad day for OTK ever since, until the 1st of January this year. OTK then updated us with this lovely tweet. As you can see, you can barely read this tweet, as they have actually chosen the smallest font on the planet. There's all sorts of ways you could have formatted this better, but we're not going to complain about the formatting, are we? Let's get into the realness of this. So, they post, on September 20th, OTK began the process of contracting a third-party law firm to investigate the conduct and allegations made against one of our founding members, Mizkif. We proceeded to retain Jackson Walker, LLP, one of the largest and most experienced neutral investigative firms in our state. And this is true. This is a very reputable law firm, and they would not be just smearing their name, their good name, for a case like this. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't risk it for some Twitter likes. I can assure you this investigation was done properly. However, I will get into what I think is going on here. But yes, they did investigate this. The scope of the investigation was to determine whether or not Mizkif attempted to cover up SA allegedly committed by one of his former roommates. That would be crazy slick for those who were not informed. Jackson Walker was granted free rein to gather all relevant facts, interview witnesses, and advise OTK as to whether evidence supported the allegations. Mizkif was placed on unpaid leave for the duration of the investigation. I'm not quite sure whether they would get evidence to prove that he, did cover this up or not. Because, is it going to be in his Discord? Is it going to be in his phone? This happened so long ago. I'm so suspicious of this. But anyway, according to Jackson Walker's investigation, Investigations Counsel did not find direct evidence that Mizkif attempted to minimize or cover up SA as alleged. Nevertheless, OTK believes that Mizkif has shown a callous disregard towards the severity of SA and racial prejudice in our space. His statements regarding these matters on his comeback stream on October 11th demonstrated a lack of empathy and ignorance towards the seriousness of the situation and the impact that his conduct has on our community. Due to his actions, the OTK Board of Directors has suspended Mizkif from his board duties effective immediately, and he will be placed on monitored probation until he demonstrates to the board that he is capable of upholding our organization's values. His status as an OTK member has otherwise been reinstated, so he's now a member of OTK again. OTK stands firmly against SA, assault, and bigotry of all forms, and is committed to upholding its core values of equality, respect, and inclusivity. We appreciate the support of our community through the process and will continue working tirelessly to ensure our organization is one you can be proud of. So that's quite heavy and it's quite a lot. I personally think this is one of those situations, and you have the right to disagree with me here. I think it's one of those situations where they have basically got someone to investigate something that is so lacking of actual evidence, so up in the air, he said, she said scenario, and it's gotten so misconstrued that then they get them in to look for a particular crime, whereas honestly, he has kind of done something slightly different than directly covering it up. He's kind of downplayed the entire situation, got people there with a power dynamic to then make moves to basically diminish this situation almost entirely and to make them feel like nothing bad really happened and that his former roommate, Crazy Slick, wasn't really that bad of a guy because he was reluctant to kick him out. I mean, he tried to say, oh, I almost did, dude. I was crying thinking I wouldn't kick him out. But no, we know he was definitely trying to think of any way not to kick him out. I mean, I understand it's your friend, but we need to normalize calling out and getting rid of friends that commit this kind of stuff, these crimes. The thing is as well with the Crazy Slick situation is saying oh, it didn't happen, there's such a big chance it didn't happen, is also unfair to say that there isn't just as big enough chance that it did happen, because it's 50-50. If we don't have direct evidence, then it's 50-50. But there were eyewitnesses there watching it happen. Mizkif's girlfriend went over to the victim's house to then basically sit there and watch her write her original twitlonger about the case. And then she was under the impression that it wasn't sexual assault somehow, and then messaged her the next day saying, I know what it's like to be assaulted. Now that can also be taken in a way that says, you can take it in the way that, you know, she's had an experience before with this, so she understands where, and you know, that area, like how it feels. But at the same time, I also feel like maybe she did assume that it was sexual assault. That she did assume that it was SA. It's one of those scenarios that I can't really put a finger on it. And I kind of did also assume, and I think I actually predicted in my original Mizkif video that he was obviously going to get out of this, whether it be investigated or not. I mean, he even said he was very confident in this investigation and that he was probably looking at a good outcome, which is also a very strange thing to be like boasting about on your comeback stream. So it doesn't end there. I quote retweeted this because this is how I feel about it. It's okay to disagree with me. Obviously, that's what the whole point of being alive is about. You can agree and disagree with other people. It's not that crazy. I quote retweeted the OTK Network's tweet with this, which says the CIA says it has found no link between itself and crack trade. Because, I mean, it just sounds like you did an internal investigation with a third party, but then didn't actually show us any evidence or any sort of investigation like process. You just told us that the firm said, nope, didn't find anything, but didn't tell us what you were directly investigating. You said he had free reign over all of his stuff. Like what exactly? Because what use is that months after the fact? It's reminding me of the Sinatra investigation that just disappeared and whew, very strange. Another one of those, yay, rich gamers get away with everything. Because let's not forget that Rich Campbell was literally let go a couple weeks ago for there was an SA allegation about him, and he left, and he still hasn't responded. He hasn't said anything yet, other than the fact that he says he's aware of the allegations. He has resigned from OTK, and he'll come back at some point to talk about it. That's that. So you're saying there's a pattern in OTK. So I tweeted this and ratioed them. I'm trying to be serious, but I did ratio them, and I'm proud of myself. Please be proud of me. It's my first ratio on twitter.com. Aren't I lucky? But there was a few Mizkif riders in the replies, and I'd also like to show you this. If you thought Mizkif was busy with, you know, maybe like trying to like pattern up his image a bit after the fact that his organization still say that they disagree with how he responded in his comeback stream, he whacks people with this. Everyone that was quote retweeting that tweet that had a slight following of any kind that was disagreeing with Mizkif, you were blocked. I wasn't tweeting at Mizkif. I wasn't tweeting it in anything he was tagged in. I just quote retweeted OTK's tweet and he blocked me. Some people are being blocked by OTK's actual organization Twitter account. The fact that this account is blocking people, let me just fix that. The people are blocking like on this account is sad. That is an awful look for a company. Like, you are way more than just a bunch of individuals. You are an organization, and there's a level of professionalism you need to keep. If people are disagreeing with you, people are disagreeing with you. If people don't like what you've done, people don't like what you've done. You're an organization. You have to take it seriously. Blocking people as an organization. I understand Mizkif blocking me. I think it's a bit odd that he's focusing on that, but you know, you do you, brother. I just think this is particularly weird that OTK themselves are blocking people. It's not a good look. And I'm very, very glad I'm very, very glad that Jay Schlatt did actually leave this organization. Mizkif has then posted an apology video for his comeback stream, the only other thing left in this twit longer for anybody to go after him for.
Hello. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, and now that the investigation is over, I would like to address my embarrassing comeback stream in October. My behavior on that stream was absolutely unacceptable. I communicated almost everything terribly, and I was completely tone deaf to such a serious situation. And I'm so sorry for how I acted. It was completely insensitive. I want to apologize to everybody, but especially victims of sexual assault. The way I behaved was horrible, and I will be better, and I will learn from this situation. I want to be better not only for myself, but for my audience. And I want my influence on this world to be positive. And I don't want anybody to deem the way I acted in that first stream as acceptable or okay, because it was not. I could talk about how I'm going to do everything differently, but I'd rather just prove it to you guys through better behavior overall and better content. That's really all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching this video.
Can I just say, that's all well and good that you apologized, but this stream was in October. You've since streamed. You went back to normal streaming. You did a Pokemon stream that went horribly and you had a big hissy fit about that as well. But this happened in October. Do you not think this apology is maybe slightly too late? October. We're in January of the next year. You're apologizing now when you've had every opportunity, thousands of people hounding at you to apologize for it. And now that the organization has announced that that's the last thing that you've got left to sort out, and then they're going to basically look at you and see if you've improved. So you clear that up and then you're going to try and improve your behavior. I understand that is exactly what they've asked of you to do, but do you not think you should apologize there and then? Do you not think the organization also should be seeing this as a, well, he did it, so he messed it up? Not, can you just go apologize, I think, in October, actually? Like, do you not think it's a bit late? I think it's really interesting to note, and I'm going to say this, and I want you to take it with a grain of salt, because that's all this is. I am just speculating, but the fact that I want you to know that this very important update, yeah, about something as serious as this, was released at 1:32 a.m. January 2023. It came out about half an hour to an hour before New Year's Day for you Americans. So everybody's streaming would have been live. Everyone's streaming would have been live. Look, there it goes. Look, 1st of January, just to prove it. Everyone would have been live streaming, just doing their own thing, reacting to, like, you know, their year in review. Maybe there was some other big Twitch events from, like, different streamers, and they're watching the New Year's, you know, the New York ball drop, whatever it is. So there's loads of other things to be, you know, getting on with on a holiday. And that's when they released this. And I do want to know whether or not this has been, like, cooking for a while, because they had this decision and they were waiting to, you know, pull the trigger. And maybe not only Jay Schlatt leaving, but Rich Campbell being called out and you know, accused, you know, these things down the road that kept happening. They're like, ah, well. So my little theory I was going to say about Asmongold is that I think that he was saying dumb shit, a lot of dumb shit, on purpose to get popular on LSF, so that when this dropped, people would still be talking about the dumb shit that he said days prior than what OTK posted, because one, it would go under the radar on New Year's, and if a streamer did talk about it, it would be buried under an Asmongold clip. Because here's a clip from Asmongold a few days before, which is so, like, what is this? This hurts. This will hurt your brain. He is discussing the Andrew Tate brothers being arrested, by the way.
What's the probability that the government wants to frame the Tate brothers? I don't know, probably 50%. I think it's pretty high. Like, the government frames people all the time. Like, if we've seen anything out of, like, any of the leaks from, you know, the way that they tried to, you know, fuck with Martin Luther King and people like that.
He's comparing Andrew Tate and his brother being arrested on serious charges to Martin Luther King being framed by the government. Give you a light reminder that Andrew Tate was arrested in Romania. Yeah. So, you know, stupid shit like that is just one of those things. He also said that they will either A, go free because of a corrupt system, or B, be arrested because of a corrupt system. How much do you want to bet that Asmongold has no idea about any of those logistics whatsoever, or anything about Romania at all? I would be shocked if you could show me where Romania is on a fucking map, to be honest with you. I also want to touch light on this tweet. I think this is really important, and something that a lot of Mizkif riders are still to this day not grasping. In this post from OTK, they say, investigations did not find direct evidence that Mizkif alleged to minimize or cover up SA. Here's Mizkif days after all this came out in a you know, one of those, like, what they call alt streams, where you stream on another Twitch account with, like, a different name, but your fan base know where to find you. This is what he said.
The narrative by being creepy. Yeah, that sucks. I told him, I'm like, look, you didn't rape anybody, you know? It's one thing, I feel like, I mean, like, he didn't do anything. He didn't. And, like, people make it seem like he did. Like, when people, like, think of it, they think that he stuck his fucking dick inside her without her consent. And I'm like, that's what people perceive it as. When they don't, people probably don't even know the situation.
No, it's not. It's not 90% of people. Look, I don't think there's a single person that we used to hang out with that doesn't hang out with Slick anymore because of what happened. I actually think there's literally none. Because the reality is, worst comes to worst of it, it's fucking, like, sexual harassment, right? I mean, like, no one, of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this. I'll just turn it off.
Take what you will from that, to be honest with you. I just think it's sickening. I think it's all sickening. The fact they're bringing him back as a member as well is just, I'm shocked. But also not surprised, because Twitch! There's so much more I could go in on this, and there's a lot more to this whole drama that predates this video, and I think that you should definitely take a look on all this. I will have linked in the description a video from FBS Diesel that's an hour long. It goes into every bit of detail, including people like Just the Minx saying that those that called Crazy Slick out are clout chasers, and that there's even more people in OTK and in that group of friends that are covering up sexual assault, that are covering up SA. It did happen before the what's called Rich Campbell stuff, but I cannot understand how she would have known about that, as that was only known at the time by the woman who alleged the accusations in the first place, and she is not like friends with any of those sort of groups of people. That is obvious. She wasn't followed by any of these people or anything like that on Twitter, which is usually a pretty good gauge of what community you're in. In fact, she's not really part of a community at all. So it's kind of strange that I actually believe that there is more than meets the eye to this, and there is more stuff hidden away in these little groups that still yet to make light to this day, which would be very interesting to see. I don't think we'll ever really hear about it, but you never know. But I've linked that video in the description. I think you should definitely take a look at it. Crazy stuff in this, man. And I think that people are really, really like underestimating the severity of this situation. I don't know. I kind of think it's time for OTK to just fucking drop it. You know, just end it now. Oh, I'm also on screen now. There are 2 videos of mine relating to the OTK stuff and Mizkif, so you can take a look at those if you're also interested in hearing me talk more about this. Cool. See ya.